Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Caravan of Garbage, where we're finishing off the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
The epic trilogy, not the extended edition.
No, because
normal edition.
We're going to come back to that, aren't we?
All right.
All right, Mason.
Fine, God.
This is also the final Caravan of Garbage of the year.
Is it?
It really is.
Happy Christmas and New Year's and holidays, everybody.
There is going to be more videos, though, on this channel. Don't even stress about that. But please leave a like. Jack Nicholson. Get ready for Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
We're going to go through all of this. This epic movie, this epic tale, this epic conclusion.
Now, before we started recording, you said to me, you said something quite profound about this movie. You said it's long.
Yeah.
You said this movie's quite long.
It is long.
Is it the longest in terms of runtime, or does it just feel the longest?
Both.
Okay, great.
I think, and this is going to sound like a criticism because I guess it is.
Yep.
I think it is the weakest of the three.
He's finally said a criticism, folks.
But
he's finally had an opinion.
It's a very high bar. Like it's an excellent movie. It's probably my least favorite though.
The bar's up in whatever the Middle Earth heaven is. The Aether. It's got one of those letters that we don't have anymore with the A and the E together.
Yeah.
You know?
Hugo Weaving points you there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's your time.
Fucking elves, man.
Right?
Useless.
Yeah.
Just leaving.
Show up at the end.
Yeah. Barely.
Oh, I feel it's time for men now.
Oh, I fixed your sword. I fixed your sword. Do you want this? You'll need it, probably. I fixed this. Well, I didn't. I got a guy to fix it.
I got my sword guy to fix it. It was actually no work for me at all.
No.
I just said, sword guy, can you fix this? And he's like, I mean, I guess.
Yeah. Why didn't you get me to fix it earlier?
Yeah. I'm going to have to order some parts in. It's not going to be free.
Now, Mason, Tolkien didn't like the name of this book because he thought it told you what happened in the movie.
But he named it, did he not?
Yeah, well, they had to split it up into different volumes. They.
Who's they?
People who wanted to make this palatable to a general
the
public.
bean counters,
Exactly,
probably.
yeah. But there's also a challenge in this movie in terms of the sheer amount of stuff to squeeze into it. So there's a whole section in the book, because it ends relatively early, the scouring of the Shire, where they go back and the Shire's been overrun by Saruman and they got to deal with all that and whatever. There's also some sections from the Two Towers which made its way over. So Andy Serkis, you'll notice in the introduction of this, he gets to show his grubby little face.
He does.
Finally.
That's not his first.
On-screen something?
Yeah. When was Velvet Goldmine? Is he in that?
God.
Maybe.
When was Suddenly 30?
Exactly.
After this.
When was Black Panther? When he's Claw?
Yeah, when was that?
When was that? There's no way of knowing. It was a stupid question. I'm just leaning into it.
That section was actually directed by Fran Walsh, who was one of the writers on this. That whole part was going to be when Frodo reveals that his name was Smeagol in the Two Towers.
Okay.
So Peter Jackson was like, no, I think that would make a fun little introduction to
It is fun.
Until the strangling, it's pretty fun, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I also think because of the sheer number of CGI shots required in this, some of them aren't quite up to scratch.
I agree.
There's the moment where Deagle gets dragged by the fish. The scale's fucked. I don't even know what's going on there. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
It's wild.
Deagle and Smeagol. Did you ever think about it?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Are they brothers?
Probably.
He just turned real quick, Smeagol.
The
You know
ring
what I
did
mean?
it!
Yeah.
It's an evil ring, Mason! That's what this
Yeah.
whole thing is about!
Just to cut to the end, right at the end, because that's the part that I remember most, because I just saw it.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
part where, like, Frodo's like, oh no, I can't give it away. This ring that I put on sometimes and I turn invisible and I get real scared and I have a bad time. I just can't get rid of it. I
Mason,
love being just a bit scared all the time.
It's heroin, Mason. It's
Oh,
heroin.
it's heroin.
It's a metaphor for heroin,
Oh,
probably.
I see. Right.
And the deeds of men, the evil deeds of men. Yeah, there's also that shot of the hobbits when they all bow to them at the end at the Death Star blowing up ceremony.
Sure.
There's a king and everybody sings and whatever. Like that's, I know it's like, it is a beautiful idea that, they don't bow to anybody, but it's a bit wonky. And it makes sense though, because the Fellowship had 540 special effects shots, Two Towers had 799, and this had 1,487. That being said, the majority of this, it still looks spectacular. There's one shot in particular which really blew me away. Let me get all corridor crew on you, Mason.
Here we go.
Sit on this couch with me. Sit on the couch.
All right.
We're doing a corridor crew.
I don't like this at
We need
all.
a third guy. Who do you want?
We'll use the unused puppet that's sitting in the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rotting.
Okay, so the shot when Merry comes out of the tent when he gets armored up and he's ahead of Eowyn and he pushes the tent flat back and he just like swings the sword. It looks spectacular. It's very, very good. Also, there were 7 units shooting on this 7 days a week during the main shooting of this.
Damn.
And then 3 years after they finished, they had to come back for 2 months of pickups because, as mentioned, I think when we talked about the first movie. They didn't finish these movies in one block. There was a lot they had to go back, almost kind of trick the studio into saying they filmed them all at once. A 2-month shoot is just the shoot of a movie.
Yeah.
You know? And I know obviously there's more involved in this. Also, this is the first time they did any actual on-set motion capture with Andy Serkis. That moment where he tussles with Sam. They actually did that for real in the moment, as opposed to doing it separately, which is amazing, quite frankly.
Good for them.
Are you amazed?
I'm amazed currently.
Are you amazed that Christopher Lee was taken out of this theatrical cut?
Yes.
Much to his chagrin.
I was shocked. I was disappointed. I was hurt.
Yeah.
He was like, what the hell? You left me in a tower. You didn't even look up at me? They were like, he's up there probably.
Yeah, that is a hanging plot thread, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's not even like a title card at the end. You know, this freeze frame on him, and he's like, he went to Hawaii.
Did he?
Yeah.
Who let him go to Hawaii? Who's responsible for
Customs.
that? Oh, okay.
Who's going to stop him?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've probably seen the extended, but he gets stabbed in the back and he falls onto a big wheel.
But I mean, all the viewers at the time would have been like, that guy got away with it. We should go to Christopher Lee's house and beat him up.
Now, you know what is taken care of in this movie, though? The love triangle. Aragorn.
Yes.
People don't like that I said Aragon. Anyway, he shoots down Miranda Otto real quick. It's basically like, look, we've got a lot of movie to do here. I can't be rooting around, all right?
Yeah.
We got stuff going on.
Pick another guy.
Yeah.
You've got
David Wenham.
You could pick him or Keith Urban. It's fine. Are they brothers? Are you brother and sister? It doesn't matter. It's fine. This is the olden
It's
time.
the olden times.
Doesn't matter.
You
It's
do whatever.
fine. Yeah.
She does end up with David Wenham, though. That is true.
That's right.
That is in the book, and it's kind of implied in this movie, and it's in the extended.
It is in the book,
Yeah.
and she ended up with David Wenham, Diver Dan,
That's right.
from Sea Change.
I like that line that Aragorn says. He goes, it is but a shadow and a thought that you love. I cannot give you what you seek. I like that because, like, he sees her as, like, a full person, not just a woman in the court who's, like, mostly ceremonial. Like, he really sees her, which is why one of the reasons why she likes him so much, and he's so handsome. But she did kind of build this idea of this man up in her mind, and he's like, I'm not this person. I'm sorry. Bye.
But I've got a cool line for you.
Yeah, that's right. But you know, she shot her shot, and you gotta respect it.
So true, yeah.
And then she was like, "That's cool, man."
Yeah.
And then she probably saw Liv Tyler and was like, "I get it."
Oh, yeah, I get it.
I
now.
get it.
It's Liv Tyler. Okay, sure, yeah. But then that gave her, I think, the rage to, throw into battle and,
Absolutely.
kill that guy.
Throw
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
Oh man, should we do that now? We can talk about the Witch King.
Oh, yeah.
God, the Witch King of Agmar, whatever his name is.
Yeah. He's just one of those guys.
He's one of those guys.
He's one of those guys that Aragorn easily defeated in the first movie.
Yeah, he's got
with a flaming torch and a sword, but now he's got a hat on.
He's got a lizard and a big flying lizard.
Oh, he does have that lizard, yeah.
And there is the prophecy. Yeah, it's a prophecy, I think, in terms of like this guy can't die at the hands of a man. And the idea is that this woman killed him, but also that the hobbit that stabbed him, he's got like a magic sword. So that helped.
Sure,
that's not really explained. It's in the books, but it like loosens the enchantment, and then she's able to stab him.
Yeah. No man can slay me, but unfortunately, I got hit by a bus earlier on the way over here, and I am not in good shape, honestly.
God, that whole Pelennor field sequence is incredible. We talked about Massive in the previous one, the program which they used for the Two Towers to do all the orcs and Uruk-hai, etc.
And we talked about bigatures.
We also
We're going to
talked
cover
about that.
bigatures again?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I'm over it.
Are there any matte paintings in this?
Yeah,
I feel like
probably.
at the end with the elves and the ship, that felt like a matte painting.
It was
to me.
probably a matte painting.
Probably a matte painting.
Yeah, he's good, isn't he?
Matte painting.
Yeah.
We're going with that's a man.
It's a man.
Okay, and he's been working in Hollywood for like 100 years.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He started young.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's when you're most creative,
So, Two Towers, they used 10,000 digital orcs. This was 200,000.
Damn.
Plus, they had to have horses. So, they mocapped 450 different motions for horses to put into this. Also, King Theoden's speech, one of the greats.
Great.
Just a man who knows he's about to get fucking annihilated.
Right.
And he's in.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so good. And you know what? They do pretty well until the elephants show up.
Everybody's got some good lines, some good speeches.
Yeah.
When Aragorn's like, don't give up now, currently.
Yeah. We've done so much stuff.
And we are surrounded. So, ideally, don't give up now, because if you give up, I'm going to die. So, if you could.
And I'm the king.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, I'm the king in this case. I'm the king. My favorite part, you pick your teams and they all, of course, band together at the end and it's pretty great. But again, the moment where the ship rolls up on the shore and the orcs are like, get out of here, and then it's the boys.
It's the boys, they're back together.
The three boys, the boys are back in town once again and they've got a ghost army now. Oh, tremendous.
There's ghosts in this.
But also,
There's ghosts in
I'm
this.
like, even if they didn't bring
You're just going to breeze past that?
No, we'll get to it, but I just, even if the ghosts weren't there, I'm like, these three would give them a good run, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because the boys are back in town.
Yeah. That being said, I feel like even though Legolas, he gets like to do a cool thing in every movie.
It's pronounced Legolas.
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 Legolas. Like he gets to do a cool thing in every movie. He's not much of a character, is he?
No. And he's also quite...
He's cool,
but he's also.
I think that's what it is, though.
But
right?
also because of the state of visual effects at the time, he's also quite physically insubstantial.
Yeah.
Like the moment where he does climb up the giant elephant to to knock some bloody sense into it.
Yeah.
He does look like a
wiggly wavy man.
A wiggly wavy man in the wind.
I mean, it looks better than what they did with him in The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Hurrying up those stairs, Mason.
Yeah. Anyway, the ghost. Did you want to talk about the ghost?
Yeah, there's ghosts in it.
There are ghosts in it. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah. I mean, there's like cloaked dudes. They're ghost-ish.
I reckon Aragorn probably should have said like, I could release you from your oath.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be one more battle after this. And you are invincible ghosts, warriors.
Just steamrolled everybody.
If you could stay till a close of business today, I'd appreciate it, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You could even just go and do it now by yourself.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We'll stay here.
Yeah.
Tell you what, and then I'll write down, I release you from your oath, and I'll sign it when you come back.
The orcs in this are interesting because in the previous movies, they're kind of like screaming little grubs. And this, they found that, the threat of them is kind of lessened because the Uruk-hai are this elite fighting force and they're so big. Yep. So they had to insert some shots of like specialized, more tactical kind of orcs, more competent. These are like Sauron's ones that live with him. They're not the ones that just like live in the crevices and the caves. These are the guys.
Yeah.
And I think
these
you really
are city
see that.
orcs, not country orcs.
Yeah. And you got that one who's based off Harvey Weinstein. So
that's right, yeah.
Not a joke. Yeah. That's real, Mason.
There it is.
Gandalf's great in this. I love that moment where he's explaining death and the sequence of events leading up. It's just a very, even as a viewer, it's like a very reassuring, like...
It's like going to live on a farm and all your friends are there and...
Yeah, really good stuff. Oh, also he does big twirling fighting stuff with a stick. Because he takes command. Again, we talked about this last week, but he's sent back and he's got a more specific mission. It's like the other wizard, he fucked up. You're going to have to like run some shit. You're going to have to hit Denethor in the face and then kick him into a fire.
They put Coca-Cola in all the water fountains so you can just drink just Coca-Cola.
Don't get sick of that?
No.
Okay, cool, man. Aren't you Ian McKellen? No? He's shaking his head.
It's Gandalf, man.
It's Gandalf, you're right. Yeah. There's an interesting theory around Denethor, which I remember reading a few years back.
Go on.
Is that he's eating and drinking from a pewter cup and plate. And the pewter cups and plates of old, or maybe even now, I don't know. If
they filled with cyanide or something.
They got lead in them.
Sure. Okay,
so
sure, yeah.
It's very well could have melted his brain, like the boomers of our generation.
Sure, yeah.
So that's why he is the way he is, because the way that Boromir talks about him is that he is this like all-powerful, like incredible steward. But when you see him, it's like, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
He's no good.
Every time I went to sleep, my dad thought I was dead and he put me on a pyre. Said he was going to set me on fire. He's done this. He's done it like 50 times.
Bad news, man.
I had to get out of there.
Yeah. In the books, the reason he is the way that he is because he's got one of those glass balls that you can talk to Sauron.
The haunted Sauron ball, yeah.
Yeah, so even though it doesn't like, he can't be corrupted into working for him, but it shows him visions of all the bad things that could potentially happen. So that's why he is the way that he is.
They might take away the Coca-Cola from the drinking fountains.
Do they have that here?
Yep.
In the big white city?
Yep.
Cool, man. That's cool. Also, it's pretty cool how he ran off that ledge at the end.
Oh, boy.
He ran a long way.
We never see him land.
No, he probably didn't. He's still falling.
Okay.
How are you with spiders?
I don't mind him.
Yeah, as an Australian, and you might feel similarly, this is nothing to me. Like, I see this, and I'm like, I would just take my shoe off and just go to town, mate.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah.
I would say it's my least favourite kind of spider, which is the big and bulky.
The funnel web kind of.
Yeah,
it's Peter Jackson's least favourite.
And it's like thick and furry
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I'd like the little spindly ones.
Yeah.
Not a problem at all. But like, these ones.
Big chunky ones.
It's fast.
Yeah, it is fast. Yeah. It's a good sequence though, I tell you what. Howard Shore's theme for that spider, he was instructed to make it David Cronenberg-esque. So that it's more, so it doesn't really fit in line with any of the other stuff in these movies. It's just this very kind of unsettling kind of number. And it definitely does the job, Mason. I also thought when I first saw this, because I hadn't finished the book, and who knows, maybe I still haven't, that Frodo died. Because somebody told me before going into this, you're not going to believe what happens to Frodo. And in hindsight, it's that he got eventually corrupted by the ring. And when I saw it in the movie, I'm like, oh, he dies. I guess that's what happens.
Well, because he wakes up in that kind of, that soft focus Vaseline on the lens, all white room, and everybody comes in as like, you did such a good job, Frodo. And it's like, oh, he's dead.
Oh, I meant the bit where the spider stabbed him.
Oh, okay, right. Well.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah, no, it does certainly feel like that. Yeah, I have a theory about that, by the way, that I do want to get back to.
Okay.
But I want to talk about hobbits also, because there's just great hobbit stuff in this. Merry and Pippin get their own sporting team, which they get to represent, which I really like. And Sam really gets to shine.
He's the MVP.
He really is.
Yeah.
Sean Astin, I mean, we haven't really talked about him, but an incredible performance all round, but just really gets to kind of step up and like show.
And his, general fury and xenophobia, it works out in the end. Because, Gollum,
he was right.
You should hit that guy with a rock.
Yeah, absolutely you should, yeah.
He spent the last 2 movies going, we should kill this guy. No. And then,
You should have.
You know that Onion, the picture of the guy in the Onion headline?
The worst
guy you know.
Yeah. Just made an amazing point or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, like the way that he even goes back for Frodo after Frodo tells him to get out of here.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have to do that, and he did. He carries him up the volcano. All good stuff, Mason. And the final fight, where they're surrounded by all the orcs and Aragorn's like, let's do a big fight together. Let's believe in ourselves. And he runs off, etc. Love all of that. So initially, though, the idea was that he was going to fight a physical manifestation of Sauron, just like in the original movie, but much bigger. And it didn't really play, and it wasn't really in line with what Tolkien would have potentially done, which was not do that. Because Sauron at this point, though it's kind of disputed about what he actually is. Like in this, he's represented as an eye, but there's some people believe that he is still like a man living in that tower also.
Oh, right.
So like there's different theories on it.
Maybe he's just a metaphor.
He might be. No, I think he's, at the very least, he's the big eye.
Maybe he's just a dream. Maybe he's just a guy everybody dreamed.
And everyone's just dreaming about him. Like in that Nick Cage movie where they all dreamed about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Nicolas Cage.
Well, apparently he was up for Aragorn at one point. I don't know. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of names. But so they end up replacing Sauron with that troll. So that's why there's the big troll fight in it. Sure. Yeah. That makes sense, doesn't it? And then they all cry. They have a big cry. But look, Mason, a big complaint of this movie, and I don't even think it's valid, is that it ends 8 times.
Yeah.
We've got the bed tussling scene. We've got the kinging ceremony. We've got go back to the Shire. We've got a Shire wedding. We've got Frodo finishing a book.
Yep.
That book's too short, by the way. We've got going on a boat, and we've got Sam going back to his mute wife.
Sure.
And that's all of it going on. So Jack Nicholson told Elijah Wood.
Jack Nicholson?
Yeah, he spoke to him at some kind of thing.
This is a late stage edition of Jack Nicholson, I gotta say.
Yeah?
You could have sown the seeds for Jack Nicholson earlier.
No, I haven't.
Okay, great.
I haven't.
No, I know you haven't.
What if I said Jack Nicholson and we just edit that in, where I say Jack Nicholson?
Yeah.
And then it'll
Get
make
ready
sense.
for Jack Nicholson.
Get ready for Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
So he told Elijah Wood, he's like, what happened to you at the end of that? Like, what? Did you die? And he's like, oh no, I went to the Undying Lands with the elves or whatever.
In what context did they meet, I wonder?
I don't know. It's some kind of Oscar thing.
Jack Nicholson bailed me up on the centre court at a Lakers game.
He might have.
Yeah.
He said, stop the clock.
Stop the clock. I got to ask this hobbit some stuff. I got to know.
And Elijah was like, what? No, didn't you watch the movie? And he's like, no, I left 30 minutes early because of too many endings. So even Jack Nicholson was like,
but how would he know there were too many endings if he didn't stick around for the endings?
I don't know.
This story's full of holes.
Elijah Wood told the story.
Did the same guy who came up to you go up to Jack Nicholson and say, hey man, there's so many endings. You should leave after Frodo gets tangled up by that spider because he dies.
Okay, fine. But you know what I love about this movie? I love one of the meanings behind it, that you can never really go home. Like once you go out and experience something.
Once you kill potentially thousands of sentient beings each.
Yeah.
If you're a little hobbit man and you live in a hobbit village and you have like a 15
your neighbour's
meals a
like,
day.
your carrots are growing over my fence.
Yeah, that
and you're
guy,
like, I'll kill you.
That guy as well. Remember, they go back into the Shire and they're all in their royal finery and this guy's still like, you'd be dead, mate. You'd be dead. Some ghostly king guy'd show up and suck your soul out. You'd be dead.
You don't even know.
You idiot.
But yeah, that idea that, once you go off and experience something and like trauma, I guess specifically, you're not the same, and you come back and all your dumb mates are there like shouting in a pub looking at a big pumpkin.
Rubbing that pumpkin, my goodness.
And you're just like, I can't with this, I cannot with this.
Imagine you're that guy though. You didn't go out and have an adventure, and your whole deal is like all the ladies are impressed by your big pumpkin. Hey, yeah, you can stroke the pumpkin if you want.
No
and these
problem.
guys show up and they're like, yeah, we killed hundreds of orcs. Yeah, pretty good.
We didn't see it. We can see this big pumpkin. We can
that's
also.
true, actually, yeah.
I just think it's also really messed up that Bilbo instills this sense of adventure in Frodo. But as I said in an earlier video, his adventure was bullshit. And
It was literally a children's book.
yeah, exactly. And Frodo's like, it was take this ring to this elven village, which is not that far. Bilbo fell asleep during one of the major battles that
Right?
occurred.
Yeah.
And he's permanently broken.
Well, yeah, at one point you see him with his shirt off and he's just like, just a mess.
He's a
This guy-
mess.
He's like Batman. Batman's got all laser burns and like freeze ray scorching and whatever. It's like that.
Oh my God.
You know?
It's amazing. And I really do love that last sequence where Frodo leaves, where it's like he's so just shattered. He cannot return to normalcy. Normalcy? Aragorn. Yeah. Lagor Gimli. Because obviously these are things that Tolkien experienced, being a World War I vet. And I think, it is a big crying scene, etc. Also, they had to film that 3 times because the first time Sean Astin took his vest off during the break. Second time it was out.
Nobody noticed?
No.
Wow.
Second time it was out of focus. And then
Third time they left the lens cap on.
so they had to do that 3 times. Like it was, and it's a pretty taxing sequence. But I love that, like, he's going to find peace. He would have died of his injuries. Like, he's probably poisoned, like, head to toe. Like,
yeah, he was still looking
wrecked.
kind of, he's kind of had those bloodshot eyes going. He looked kind of hollowed out.
He just wanted to go for a little walk.
Yeah, right.
He didn't deserve this, Mason.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's interesting. They've done, the Rings of Power, obviously, which is a prequel to this. But it's interesting they've yet to mine the future adventures of Frodo and Bilbo and the elves as they went off to sea and whatever. I know it's supposed to be the afterlife probably or whatever. But
Yeah, whatever.
You could say it's Australia.
Sure, you could say it's
fine.
the Mad Max world.
That's exactly right, yes.
Yeah.
You could say that, some more hobbits came from space and Bilbo killed one and regained his immortality in his youth.
The Highlander 2 route.
The Highlander 2, yeah. That's right, yeah.
Tolkien, shortly before his death, he did start a sequel book, and I have a video on it.
Oh.
It's concerning the world of men, because all the magic is gone, and what happens when people forget and they get bored and restless.
Yeah.
And like these old evil forces, they take on like a new meaning, and there's a distance there, But then he was like, nah. He was like, it's just politics. It's basically Game of Thrones. It would have
Interesting.
been,
Okay, right.
Essentially.
Is George R.R. Martin's name, does he put it like that so it sounds like J.R.R. Tolkien?
You're going to have to ask him.
I'm not going to. I don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone leave that in the comments.
It's an eternal mystery that I won't look up. It's probably the second thing on his Wikipedia page, but I won't look it up.
You didn't have to do a goddamn thing, Mason.
Thank you. I've earned it. I've been through all these battles.
I agree. But you do have to do this.
Okay.
You have to experience thoughts and prizes.
Oh,
It's
here we
returned,
go.
everybody.
You're really going to do this?
Woo!
You're really going to do this?
I feel good about this one.
Isn't this supposed to be like, we're really going to work hard on these because it's the Lord of the Rings and it's real big... These have got to be timeless
You got to get them
videos.
right, yeah.
But that's why we're doing thoughts and
I
prizes.
want people to win.
Okay.
Don't you want that? And you can win too.
I don't even know what this is. I've never known.
Okay, so basically, for everybody who doesn't know...
I don't know.
I give my thoughts on the movie, just little miscellaneous thoughts, and then you can also win some prizes.
You meaning the listeners and me.
Yes.
Interesting.
Right, yes.
Any clues of what the prizes are this time?
I'm just going to list here and it's looking good.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I think Sauron should have had a guy on the door to Mount Doom, or at the very least, just a door.
Yeah, like one guy.
Yeah.
One of those big orc
Yeah.
guys,
Or a door.
Yeah. Like that guy in John Wick 4, he could kick Frodo down the stairs and he could just fall and fall and fall for it, and we'd go, no, and we'd be really invested, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I feel like it would be really funny also if Rosie Cotton was like, nah, man, I just like you as a friend. And by a friend, I mean a guy who's never spoken to me before.
Right, yeah.
I think that would be fine.
Yeah.
He's like, I would have married Rosie Cotton. Well, you didn't say anything ever.
That's right. Yeah. We don't even know if she can talk.
Shoot your shot, like Miranda Otto.
That's
Didn't
right.
work out, but sometimes it does,
That's
you know?
right. Yeah.
In watching this, I think that Frodo forgot Legolas's name. Because when he comes into the room and they all jump on the bed, he says Gandalf, he says Gimli, he says Aragorn, but he doesn't say him. Also, in
Do they not really have many scenes together?
Well, he says they don't talk outside of "and my bow," right? I mean, they're in sequences
My
together.
bow. I've missed you, my bow. Is your name right?
But I looked into this, and it is a theory. People have had this thought before.
Interesting. Okay.
Which doesn't bode well for thoughts and prizes.
No, this isn't even an original thought.
No.
Isn't one of the rules for this? They have to be all your original thoughts.
That is one of the rules. Thank you for pointing that out.
Are you getting penalised for that?
Am I?
Yeah.
Somebody is.
Wow.
Also, in the book at the end, when he's writing down all his adventures, he spells his name Legolas, and it's got a little dots above the U, and it's probably some other fucking Hobbit language, I assume. But that makes me think that also, like, he doesn't know this dude.
Yeah, right.
Like, he doesn't know. He probably asked Sam, you know this guy? Yeah, it was like Legolas.
I would say probably he doesn't have his phone number, so he probably couldn't get the likeness rights.
Oh, okay.
So he has to be like, no, it's Lorgalos.
Yeah. I hate clean-looking Aragorn.
Oh, because he had his hair done. For the crowning ceremony. Yeah,
mess it up a bit.
Sure.
Thin out that beard.
Okay, interesting.
You're a scraggly man. You got to run with it.
Yeah, I mean the population I think would probably respect him more if he looks more like a scumbag like them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, even though Frodo went across to the Undying Lands or whatever, I think hanging out in the show is way better than whatever the fuck is over there with all the elves, like lights and clouds and shit. Like, no. Dreadful.
They have second breakfast over.
Hell yeah.
They probably don't even have one breakfast. They're probably like, I get all my energy from photosynthesis over here. No.
I think it should be treated like Dalesford. We talked about Dalesford before. You go there, you have a hot spa, you get a massage, you come back, you feel refreshed.
That's right.
Invigorated.
Yeah.
I don't know. My last thought is, remember when Frodo told Bilbo that he lost the ring at the end, but that's not true. He actually wrestled with a small ghoul, and then the ring fell into the volcano with the small ghoul. Remember that? But he told Bilbo that he lost it. He didn't lose it, though. It was in the movie.
That's true.
You think he would have remembered that?
Yeah.
It's pretty significant. Anyway, that's the end of thoughts and prizes.
Go on, and for such an epic trilogy. No, before you make your call.
Mason.
Wow, I was gonna say for such an epic trilogy of videos, you'd think.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
That it would climax in you giving out some prizes.
Yeah, I know you would think that, wouldn't you? But there was that thing, and I had that thought that wasn't my thought. So
interesting. So you're penalising everybody else for your mistake.
You think this doesn't hurt me also? I do
think that.
I want you all to win.
I don't think you even know what winning is.
Maybe next week. And by next week, I mean next year when we return.
Interesting.
Mason, it's time for the Return Trivia of the King. It's the trivia section of the show, you better believe it.
Huzzah!
Andy Serkis and Elijah Wood were both given prop rings by Peter Jackson used in the movie. Apparently, they both thought they had the only one, but they didn't. Uh-oh. Trouble in Paradise, boys.
There it is.
The final day of filming on the trilogy actually happened over a month after the movie was theatrically released, and 3 weeks after the 2004 Academy Awards, Peter Jackson arranged to film one final shot of skulls on the floor in the tunnel of the Paths of the Dead, and that was on the extended edition DVD. You thought that's pretty funny that he's adding to this movie, even though it already won Best Picture, etc.
They should take his award away from him.
I agree.
We think you've made it the worst picture now, and our rule is law now.
And Jack Nicholson agrees with us. We brought him.
That's right.
We thought your movie sucked. Brett McKenzie's in this.
From Flight of the Conchords.
Yep. He's credited as Escort Elf.
Okay.
But fans dubbed him Figwit, which is Frodo is great. Who is that?
Those fans.
No, they're good, aren't they? He also appeared in The Hobbit 1 as Lindir, which is a different elf.
That's terrific.
It was a 13-month round trip in the movies for Frodo from door to door.
Sure.
But in the book, it was 6 months and 2 days. So he made good time.
It's terrific.
6 months is very doable. 13 months, too long.
Dragging your feet, Frodo. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, he had been stabbed and poisoned a lot.
Gothmog's look. You know Gothmog, the big messed up orc?
Yes, I do, yes.
I mentioned this, but
I didn't know his name was Gothmog.
Yeah, his name's Gothmog. It is based off Harvey Weinstein after he wanted Miramax to cut the trilogy down to one film before a deal was made with New Line. And that brings us to, let's talk about Harvey Weinstein.
Why, though?
Let's talk about him.
Yucky.
None of this is good, by the way. If
No,
you think
it
I'm going to
wouldn't
get to the end of this and go, top shelf, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Do not worry.
Okay.
Put down your pitchforks. So this is the sequence of events that led to Harvey Weinstein being involved and then not involved in Lord of the Rings.
Is it any of the crimes he did?
No, actually.
Okay, all right.
No, that was after this. Well, no, he was doing the crimes.
He would have been doing
He was
the
not
crimes.
caught until later. So Peter Jackson went to him in 1995 with a trilogy of films consisting of The Hobbit and then 2 Lord of the Rings movies. Weinstein, though, couldn't get the rights to The Hobbit because apparently he pissed off producer Saul Zaentz. They worked together on The English Patient. So Jackson was like, oh, fine, why don't we just do 3 Lord of the Rings movies? And Harvey Weinstein was like, no, 2. So they started work on them.
It doesn't even make any sense.
It doesn't.
Let's split 3 books into 2 movies.
Doesn't make any sense.
Movie 1, Fellowship of the Ring and half of the 2 towers, 1 tower. Fellowship of the Ring in 1 tower. As if.
Ridiculous.
Idiot. You should be in jail just for that.
I agree.
And nothing else. No, all the other
All the things.
Yeah.
So Peter Jackson started working on it, but Miramax wouldn't tell him the budget, and then he realized that it was only 75.
We'll never tell.
I know. And he realized it was only $75 million for 2 movies, which is not enough for what we're doing here. No. This would have looked like Mortal Kombat 2.
Ugh.
Yeah. The script also leaked for these, and people...
It's called The Lord of the Rings, the book.
No, Mason, it's different. A lot of the elements are very similar, but it moves at a clip, and a lot of the little character moments are lost. Right? Weinstein also said, listen, you need to make this one movie, and if you don't do that, I'm going to replace you with Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino's Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
He does like feet.
He does.
Those hobbits have big, hairy feet.
He loves all of that.
I've never understood the foot thing. Do people want little feet or big feet or hairy feet?
Like, what do they like?
Yeah.
Like in a fetish?
Yes.
I think it's specific to the individual, isn't it?
It would be, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
We bless all of you out there, and we forgive you.
I don't.
What about Harvey Weinstein?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Die in jail. Anyway, things soured, but... Sauroned. But Jackson was allowed to pitch elsewhere. So we talked about this in the first video, but he went to New Line. Weinstein was offended by this and thought he wasn't being treated with respect, and he demanded 5% of the film's total gross. New Line's Bob Shea said no. He said, to hell with that. That is definitely not happening. Not in a million years. I'm going to give Weinstein 5% gross. Forget about it.
Nice.
He did end up, though, making, so there is a happy ending to this if you're Harvey Weinstein, $70 million off this trilogy, and a further $20 million from the first Hobbit movie.
Not bad.
So he made it like a bandit, but he is in jail, and that's good.
I was going to say that'll pay for a lot of cigarettes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's great for him.
Yeah. Box office.
Okay.
On a budget of
I'm going to turn this whole thing around. We're going to turn this thing around.
Some of this money went to Harvey Weinstein.
Uh-oh.
On a budget of $94 million, it made $1.15 billion. It was the second movie to break $1 billion after Titanic. That's not including like re-releases, because Jurassic Park has since, and etc. and others. The Lord of the Rings trilogy also became the most nominated film franchise at the Academy Awards with 30 nominations in total. It surpassed the Godfather trilogy's 29.
And is therefore a better series of movies.
Agreed. And it also won, this movie in particular, 11 out of the 11 Academy Awards it was nominated for.
That's a sweep.
It swept, Mason. My goodness.
That's a sweep.
We've done it.
You've done it.
Ah,
What an epic journey.
great movies.
I agree.
We should watch them again.
Well, I was going to say, what are we going to watch on Boxing Day if we've already watched the Lord of the Rings
The
movies?
War of the Rohirrim.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, we have a podcast called The Weekly Planet where we are going to cover that new animated prequel.
All right.
But that's not the only thing that we do. That does have its own YouTube channel, and it's on Spotify and Apple or whatever. It comes every
Is that
Monday.
going to have like Miranda Otto's character and those guys, or is it all new guys?
She does do voiceover, but it is a prequel, like 200 or so years or something like that.
Huh.
It's got Brian Cox in it.
Interesting.
Not a commercial. Though I did do a commercial. This isn't a commercial.
Okay. I mean, your commercial was like, it's got Brian Cox in it. What do you think about that?
Pretty good. But also we have a service called bigsandwich.co where we do a bunch of bonus stuff if you are interested. It helps us keep this channel sponsorship free.
That's right.
We do video game Let's Plays. We looked at that Golem video game. Bad.
I think all the Aragon guys are gonna be upset at you saying Golem.
They can die in a ditch, Mason.
Wow.
Actually, no, you can check out bigsandwich.co where we also have movie commentaries.
Those are your two options.
Yeah.
Die in a ditch or pay us money.
we do bonus podcasts. Again, it's just a way of supporting this channel if you would like to.
We would love you to.
You don't have to. We appreciate you watching this.
That's right.
And there will be some stuff going up in January. We're going to repackage some old stuff, aren't we, Mason?
Terrific,
Put it out. Yeah.
Always does well.
It does. They always do pretty well. So, look forward to that. And we'll be back in late January for a look at, here's a hint.
Don't know when to give up, do you?
I can do this all day.
All the Red One lovers will be there.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Have we done a Christmas commentary over at BigSandwich.co? We did one for Jingle All the Way, which is
Oh,
on this
you
channel.
did. We did. And we did one for Home Alone 1.
Whoa.
And we did that stupid Polar Express movie.
Did we do Die Hard?
Yeah, we did Die Hard as well.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, great.
Christmas movie. Argue about it in the comments.
Please do. All right, thanks, everyone.
Grab that jam, you guys. We'll see you real soon.
Bye.